Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. It's Jazz. If you are new here, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you are a returning viewer, you already know what's going on, so let's hop into this video. Today we're going to be talking about how to master your emotions. This is such a big part of growing up, maturing, and just becoming the best version of yourself. I never realized how emotional I was until I did the self-work. I always played the victim. Everybody was a villain in my story, and if you did something to offend me, I always took it personal. I was so unaware of my feelings and things that triggered me, so I was just like a loose cannon around here, okay? I tried so hard to camouflage my negative attitude as, oh, I'm just being straightforward, or oh, I'm just bland, or oh, that's just how I am, when that is so toxic. But I have grown, I have evolved, and I want to share with you the things that you need to do to get in control of your emotions. It has helped me to become so much more aware, and I feel like I have a better sense of who I am and what my purpose is, and I'm able to fully walk in that knowing what I know now. In order to become more emotionally aware, you have to understand, recognize, and know what triggers you and know how to manage your own emotions. Not only do you have to know and recognize and understand your emotions, but also the people around you, because they matter as well, and what you say and do and how you say and do it affects others too. In order to fully know what triggers you emotionally, you really just have to stop in the moment when you're going through things and just check yourself. So for me, that looked like right after I got into an argument with my husband and I knew I was wrong, I had to acknowledge, okay, you were wrong. It's hard for me to look at myself and tell me I'm wrong when I feel like I'm so right. But being emotionally aware is not about being right or wrong. It's simply about knowing and understanding that, hey, you know, he has a valid point, you have a valid point, and that's okay. But all the extra in between is not called for. A few things that triggered me were when I feel like he would not really understand where I was coming from. So instead of listening to understand, I was listening to respond. So because I didn't feel hurt, I wasn't trying to hear him when we both had valid points, and it's always something small that we were like disagreeing about, and we always end up saying the same thing somehow, but we just weren't hearing each other. So in order for me to fully understand him, I had to first of all take myself out of my own body and tap into what his feelings and what his perspective was, because he always has a different perspective, and that's just who we are as humans. So we're not always going to agree with each other. That's just not reality. Once I've stopped taking things so personal and tried to put myself in his shoes to understand where he was coming from, I feel like I grasped a whole new concept on how to communicate. Now I'm so cool, calm, and collected when we talk. I feel like I'm a new version of myself, and I don't let little things get to me anymore. Like, I don't roll my eyes and just act like I'm uninterested. I genuinely want to be better, and I don't want to be just so mad and angry every time we have a disagreement. Like, it's okay to agree to disagree. So I had to learn how to do that, because I always felt like, well, no, you did this, you did that. I never took into account how the things that I would say would trigger him or hurt his feelings. So that also helped me with family members and friends, because I'm more aware of how I say things now, because y'all, I really had a little smart mouth. Like, the way that I said things sometimes came off as like too much, and I'm still working on that. Like, I need to give myself a filter and not think that just because I say something a certain way that everybody is going to receive it that way. And I'm more aware of how I say it, so I don't offend anybody or hurt anybody's feelings, because I can kind of tend to be like direct and aggressive a little bit, just a little bit. But I'm learning to kind of tone that down and be a little bit more soft, so what I'm really saying can get through versus me just talking without thinking. That's another thing that has helped me to become more emotionally aware, is thinking before I speak. So I used to say whatever I felt like was on my mind at the time, and I would literally think about it afterwards. And now if somebody pisses me off, I just give myself a minute. I don't want to be a hothead anymore. I don't want to just respond knowing that I'm gonna say something that I really don't mean, so I can process my thoughts and my feelings and how I feel and what that person said to me to trigger me so bad, and then take that and think about what I want to say. So what I started doing is typing out a note in my phone as if I'm going to send this person a text message, and then I get it all out. Like, I'll write a whole paragraph, so I get it off my chest what I want to say, and then I go back and read it, and I'm like, I'm so glad you didn't say that, because you did not mean that. Like, you would have said something that would have took something to a whole nother level. Once I actually type up that message, I never send it. Sometimes I don't even say anything else. I just let whatever the situation is be, because it just doesn't deserve my energy, it doesn't deserve my peace, and I just don't have the time for it. So if that person did something to me or trigger me and I feel like I want to say something still and I want to like clear the air, then I'll just give myself a minute to process it, look at that note, and really think about like, okay, this doesn't matter, that doesn't matter. So I try to think of a more collected way to say how I feel without saying anything that could tear somebody else down, because we're not in the business of tearing people down. Like, I want to uplift people, I want to be a light, and I want to lead by example. So when I give that energy, I get it in return, because when you give out negative energy, you get it in return, regardless of who, what, when, where, and why. I'm talking to people, I talk to them like I want to be talked to. Another thing that I did talk about was apologizing when I'm wrong. I am not too prideful. My ego is not too big to step up and say, okay, I made a mistake, I want to fix it, how can I make this better? I'm not too prideful, but I'm not your punching bag either. So if I feel like I have made known, okay, I overreacted, I didn't understand where you were coming from, but now I do, I'm sorry, I was wrong. As long as I give my piece, I'm okay. If that person doesn't accept it, that's on them. I just know that I did what I had to do. Some people aren't where I am, and I can't expect me from people, so I had to stop like expecting people to come around and people to understand my point of view when they've never really wanted to understand it from the beginning, and I match their energy, which we're not doing that no more. I'm not matching your energy. I'm just taking the high road always, because nobody deserves to have that much control over me emotionally. If I'm disagreeing with somebody and we are not seeing eye to eye, I'm gonna say my piece and I'm gonna keep it moving. If I have to cut that person off, then that's just what it's gonna have to be, because at this point in my life, I have no interest in fostering any relationships that are not beneficial to me. And if you cannot seem to get on the same page as me for whatever reason, then so be it. Being emotionally aware does not mean you have to be weak and let people walk all over you. It simply means that you understand why you feel the way you feel, and you try to understand why they feel the way they feel, even though sometimes it would never make sense. Some things some people do will never make sense to me, and that's okay. That's okay, that's perfectly fine. I always like to give y'all a Bible verse. In Proverbs chapter 4 verse 23, it says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. So from my perspective, as long as I'm doing what I have to do to protect my heart, I'm gonna be good. I said that to say, regardless of who it is, what they did, what happened, you have to learn how to not let those things get to you and not take it personally. It's not personal. It's not. Like, take your feelings out of it, and it's okay if somebody pisses you off. You are totally entitled to feel exactly how you want to feel. That I'm not saying to ignore your emotions or to tone down how you feel. What I'm saying is you have to be mindful, try to process it and handle it the best way that you can, because that's all we know how to do. I'm not about to sit here and act like I'm perfect. Like, I still react off my emotions sometimes, and I have to literally stop myself in the moment and correct myself and tell myself, calm down. Like, calm down. That's dealing with my kids, my husband, my family. Like, yeah, we get tested every day, all day, y'all. My kids, my daughter just turned 4, my son is 5, and my kids really test my nerves sometimes, but I'm trying to be the best mom that I can be. I have to put myself in their shoes sometimes and have to remember that, Jazz, they're only 1, 4, and 5. So what you expect? You think those are emotionally stable kids? Like, how? Girl, you 30, you barely able. Like, I have to just give myself some grace sometimes and calm myself down, because sometimes I kind of lose control and I feel bad and I instantly regret it, and I always try to communicate to my kids, I'm sorry mommy fussed at you, I'm sorry mommy did this, and I'm trying to raise them to be more in control of their emotions, because my daughter, drama, she is the drama, okay? Like, drama queen, and so I'm trying to instill good habits in them, and I'm trying to lead by example with them so they can see me handle things good in a different way, so they don't go out there in the world just acting crazy and acting like ain't nobody raised them. Another thing that has helped me to be more emotionally intelligent is I try to look at the glass half full rather than empty, because I know that my mindset affects everything that I do. So if I wake up in the morning and I'm like in a rut, I know that if I don't work out, eat good, I know if I don't feed my soul, feed my mind, and just pray, I know I'm gonna have a bad day, and I know I'm gonna like sit in those depressed emotions and just pity myself for no reason. If I wake up in a not so good mood, I'll give myself a day, because sometimes I just don't feel like it. I want to get out the bed and I just want to do nothing, and sometimes I'll give myself that time to just sit, but not too much. Like, I like to get up out my rut because I cannot let that interfere with what I have going on. So earlier this week, y'all tried to pin this video twice, and both times I literally could not think of the words to say, and I was in such a rut. My mood was just so up. And yesterday I was like, you know what, no, I'm going for a run, I'm getting some fresh air, meditating again, I'm back in my word. I have to get back on it. I cannot sit in those negative emotions for too long, otherwise it'll literally bring me down, and I cannot afford to be brought down because I got things to do. And I was literally doing nothing. I was being so unproductive, and I'm like, why are you doing this to yourself? Like, why? I think it was because I kind of got overwhelmed mentally, because I was focusing on too many things at one time, and when I do that I tend to shut down. So I had to literally dig down and understand, okay, why do you feel this way? And I came up with the conclusion that I just had too much going on. So I need to start focusing on a few tasks at a time and making sure that I'm writing my list, checking things off, so I don't have to try to keep everything in my brain and remember what I have to do. So I usually try to do a to-do list the night before, so I know exactly what I have to do the next day. But I just kind of got off track somehow. I think it was over the weekend. I don't know, something just didn't click right, and I did not roll into my week very productive like I usually do. And that's okay, that happens. But I knew that I could not stay down. So I had to be real with myself and realize, like, girl, why are you letting this stop you? And I knew it. Like, I felt myself like just pitying myself, and I'm like, you're better than that. So understanding why you feel the way that you feel. And I know that, okay, you didn't really eat a whole full balanced meal on Sunday, but my husband and I did go on a date, and I was rushing from that, and then we got, I think the whole date on Sunday threw me off, because my Sundays are usually spent resting, and after we go to church, I of course cook dinner and everything for the kids, and then I rest, I prepare for the week. And I think I didn't have that time to prepare Sunday, so that rolled into Monday just being a drag. And so I know now that, okay, if you're gonna do a date on Sunday, you need to make sure Saturday everything is planned and everything is set up. I know that if I don't have the proper rest, it's gonna affect my emotions, because I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be mad because I didn't get enough. Like, I know the things that trigger me now, because I have taken the time to, every single time I'm in like a mood or I leave a conversation and I'm feeling uneasy, I take a second to reflect. Then I ask my mom, I ask my husband. Sometimes they give their advice and I don't even ask, because they'll notice that, okay, you need to calm down, and they'll check me real quick, and I need that. Like, I'm so thankful to have that, and it has just helped me so much, and I know that it will help you. So my challenge to you is, I'm gonna challenge you one thing. The next time that something triggers you, I just want you to stop. Instead of reacting and spazzing out and going crazy on somebody, I really want you to pause, take a second, give yourself some time to process how you feel. Just don't say anything. Don't respond. If it's through text message, if it's face to face, just be quiet. Just don't say anything and listen. That's the hard part for me, because we're not gonna do that anymore. Now we are going to just relax, take some time, give yourself a minute. If you don't have to respond right then, I feel like you need to respond in your head, or respond in a text message, write a note, or do a voice note and save it. Don't send it to that person. Just say what you want to say and then reread it or replay it, listen to yourself so you can think about it from a different perspective once you hear it. I feel like once you go back and listen to or read what you said back, you'll change your tone. But this doesn't necessarily always have to be like when you're in a negative emotion, even when you're in a positive emotion, because what I like to do is take a note of the things that like trigger me. Like I keep a note of the things that trigger me, and then I like to keep a note of the things that make me happy. So when I'm triggered, I like to do the things that make me happy. Like I know that if I get up and eat a nutritious breakfast for one, get some time outside, do a stretch, going to Target and just walking around Target with some Starbucks, if I have to get my kids outside and just focus on my kids and love on them, because that brings me so much peace. Like holding my baby, nursing her, like all of that makes me so happy. And so I know that whenever I'm having some downtime, like I literally have to get up and get myself moving. Having that note makes it a little bit easier for me when I'm going through, because I can look at it and say, okay, you need to do one of these things. Like whatever you got to do, stop what you're doing and do this. So doing that will help you improve your mood and get out of your little rut or get out of your little funk, or even, you know, just help you to think deeper into what's really going on and give you a moment to meditate, whatever that looks like for you. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you learned a thing or two, be sure to leave me a comment and let me know what you got going on, how you are able to deal with your emotions. If you have some tips that can help me, let me know, baby, because sharing is caring. I share my tips with y'all. I want to hear what y'all can share with me as well. Be sure to like this video, subscribe if you have not, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.